Let's start with recruiting. Of course, camps are in full session. We've got official visits taking place. Really, end of May into June is just crucial time for these programs, and people might really cast the spotlight on Billy Napier and his future at Florida, resting on some of this as well. So, where do we stand in recruiting? Who are some of the hot targets that people are talking about?
Yeah, Mark, we should probably start with late Monday, Josiah Abdullah, 3-star wide receiver, decommitted from Florida, and kind of a mutual parting of ways here. And you could kind of tell, Florida had hosted 2 other wide receivers this past weekend, got some big names, got some legacies that will be coming on campus the next couple of weeks as well. We kind of got word over the weekend that this was probably going to happen, and it happened late on Monday. So he was he was around, the 500 overall mark for overall player in the class of 2025. So recent decommit there. So, but, Florida is going to have to rebound with that. And of course, Mark, I know you cover Ohio State pretty close, but one of the bigger targets is a Gator legacy who was on Ohio State's campus this past week was Vernell Brown III. Of course, his grandfather played for the Gators, so it's been a long legacy there for Florida. He's certainly near the top of the board for Florida, one of the best yards after the catch receivers there in the country. But also, go back to this past weekend, and Florida did some good work with Joshua Moore and Deshaun Montgomery, both on campus this past week, both 4-star receivers from the state of Florida. So it does look like Florida will turn its attention more to state of Florida prospects at the wide receiver spot. And of course, why wouldn't you when you see what the state of Florida has produced at the wide receiver spot? So of course, DJ Lagway waiting in the wings after this season. So I think that's a big selling point. That was a big selling point for these receivers, Moore and Montgomery this past weekend. But if you want to keep going down the list, Florida is going to go after some big names. Caleb Cunningham from the state of Mississippi, he's going to be visiting this weekend. I don't necessarily see that one working out for Florida in the end, but I did mention Vernell Brown III. He's going to visit June 14th, and that's a loaded weekend for Florida because Dallas Wilson's also going to be on campus. The 5-star who's committed to Oregon right now out of Tampa. There's some talk, if he does flip, it might be a Florida-Miami battle if he does decide to flip from Oregon. So there are some big names the Gators are going after as well. But, one more from IMG, Donovan Olagbode. He's kind of he don't let a whole lot out, but maybe trending Florida just a bit. So that visit coming up in a couple of weeks will be big. But also another legacy, Mark, is C.J. Ingram, Cornelius Ingram, a former Gators tight end in the Urban Meyer era. His son, who plays quarterback at Hawthorne, is being recruited to play wide receiver for Florida. So Florida's got some big names and some legacies to help make up for that decommitment of that they just suffered on Monday.
You just mentioned Urban Meyer. Anybody else on the College Football Hall of Fame candidates list that was just released here in the last 24 hours from Gator Nation?
I know I saw it yesterday, but I was so busy with recruiting, I didn't even go back to look at it. I know Urban Meyer.
And it's not like the NFL. It's not like there's like 12 names. There's like 80 names. So, it is difficult to keep track of. So sorry to put you on the spot there.
Yeah.
But we know
I know Urban and Nick Saban were on there. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're the headliners. And when you look at that Urban Meyer record, tough to deny that. Obviously, he's a slam dunk as well as Nick Saban. 187-32 sticks in my brain from looking at that this morning. That's just crazy. And of course, won the 2 national championships at Florida. How does Gator Nation feel about Urban Meyer these days?
Well, it's probably been probably come back around a little bit, Mark, because of course the wins aren't there as they were under Urban Meyer. So a lot of people were like, "Hey, I missed those days," no matter what it looked like. But no, a lot of people think he deserves to be in the Ring of Honor that Florida, has there at the stadium. I think eventually he certainly will be placed in that. But they've come. I think most have come around. Of course, you go back to what happened, and he had the heart problems and then takes a year off. And look, I know people will say, "Oh, it was planned for him to go to Ohio State." I mean, look, he had no way of forecasting what was going to happen with Terrell Pryor and Jim Tressel at the time. He had no idea that was going to play out. And he took a year off and was back and came back to the year college. It came back to college football at Ohio State. But I know that rubs some people the wrong way. But all in all, I think enough time has passed for most of Gator Nation that there's still a soft spot for Urban Meyer and the 2 championships he was able to win at Florida.
Back to 2024, we are 5 weeks, 6 weeks away from SEC Media Days. And then once we hit that, we roll right into August camp.